At 6 in the morning, my porch light flickered, and two guys in matching polos walked up, holding a laminated paper. Behind them stood Pamela Knox, the HOA president of Cedar Bluff, Iberos. Arms crossed, chin high, like she owned the street. One guy reached toward my electric meter, and I said, "Before you touch that, you're going to want to see this," and hit play on my phone. Yeah, that happened, and that's how the end began. But this story started months earlier, back when all I wanted was to build a small workshop in my backyard for my granddad's old walnut workbench. He'd passed it down to me, and I couldn't stand to see it rotting under a tarp. So I drew up plans, filed. My request checked every box the HOA required. My place is in Boise, Idaho. Quiet cul-de-sac, cookie-cutter lawns, beige fences. The kind of neighborhood where everything's neat, until you realize neatness is code for control. The first morning I started clearing space, Pamela popped her head over the fence. Big sunglasses, tennis visor, that fake sweet tone. "What are you building back there?" she asked. Like I was hiding a secret. I told her. "Just a small workshop for tools." Her smile didn't move. "Workshops are sheds. Sheds are regulated. Cedar Bluff has standards." I said I'd already submitted my paperwork, and she gave me that look, like she'd just realized she wasn't in charge of me, and it bothered her. "I'll be watching," she said, and walked off. A week later, everything was going great, until I opened my mailbox and saw a letter. Notice of violation. Unauthorized structure. $500 preliminary fine. Looked official, except the logo was fuzzy, and the P.O. box didn't match the one on the HOA newsletter. I called the HOA office, and the treasurer, Ruth, sounded exhausted before I even finished reading. She said, "We don't issue preliminary fines, and your request's been sitting pending, marked on hold by Pamela." That's when I realized it wasn't about rules. It was about her. That same afternoon, she stood at the fence again, hands on her hips. "This is a visual harmony issue," she said. "We'll be conducting an inspection." I told her, "That's not in the bylaws." She smirked. "It is now. You ever have that moment where someone abuses a little bit of power just because they can? Yeah, that was mine. I tried to keep calm to focus on the build, but the letters kept coming. A sticky note on my door warned that my rain barrels might attract pests and services could be restricted. I didn't even know what that meant. So I called the city. Officer Mia Chen came by, clipboard in hand, checked everything, and said, "You're good. If you get another fake letter, send it to me." I thought that would shut Pamela down. Instead, she went online. Facebook post. "Some neighbors think rules don't apply to them," with a photo that just happened to show my fence line. Subtle. "Right," my neighbor Jake texted. "She pulled that stunt on me last year. Keep receipts." So I did. Screenshots, letters, timestamps, everything. Then I filed a formal request for HOA records. The meeting minutes, any resolution about this visual harmony inspection, all of it. A week later, Ruth called. "Your submission was held by Pamela. No such inspection rule exists. And those violation letters. They're using a fake P.O. box." She paused and said, "Document everything." That night, she sent me an audio file. You could hear Pamela's voice crystal clear. "You fine first, they fold faster. Nobody needs to see ACC decisions while I'm reviewing." I just sat there, phone in my hand, heart racing. I wasn't even mad anymore, just focused. I contacted a local attorney, Alex Porter, who wrote a cease and desist letter citing the HOA bylaws and warning that interfering with utilities was a reportable offense. I thought that would scare her off. Nope. A week later, I was drinking my morning coffee when a white truck pulled up. Knox Property Services painted on the door, which made me laugh, because subtlety had clearly left the building. 2 guys came to my door with a laminated utility compliance order stamped with that same fake P.O. box. Pamela stood by the curb, like she was directing traffic. One of the guys said, "We've been asked to tag your meter for shutoff pending HOA compliance," I asked By. Who? Pamela stepped closer. "The association." I looked at the paper hit record on my phone and said, "Touch that meter and you're part of a crime. Officer Chen already cleared me, and my lawyer warned the HOA about utility interference." The older guy glanced at her and said, "We're going to confirm this," and backed away. Pamela muttered, "This isn't over," and stormed off. Within the hour, I'd emailed the clip to Ruth, to my attorney, to the city, and to the HOA board. Subject line: attempted utility interference. Evidence attached. By evening, Ruth replied, "Emergency board meeting tonight." 7:30 p.m. The clubhouse was packed. Pamela stood up front in a blazer so bright it could blind a bat. "This session is about non-compliance and disrespect for our rules," she said. I raised my hand. "Show us the board vote that created the visual harmony inspection." Silence. Ruth spoke softly. "There is no vote, no minutes, no rule." You could feel the air change. Pamela's smile cracked. "Then the structure violates aesthetic standards," she said, desperate now. Officer Chen, who was sitting quietly in the back, stood. "City code says it's compliant. Setbacks, height, color, all fine." Pamela's voice shook. "Then it's about conduct. This resident has disrespected the community." Jake from the back called out, "You mean the Facebook post where you called him a rule breaker?" People started murmuring. I pulled out the laminated utility compliance order, laid it on the table. "This is the document your contractors brought. Wrong P.O. box, fake logo, and your signature right here. P. Knox, President." Then I played the recording of her voice. "Fine, first they fold faster." The room went quiet. You could hear the air conditioner hum. Pamela went pale. "That was taken out of context," she stammered. "I delegated. It's standard practice." I held up the HOA binder. "Then show the minutes." Carl, the vice chair, looked around, sighed, and said, "Ruth, do we have minutes authorizing any of this?" She laid an empty binder on the table. "No." He gave one soft tap of the gavel. "Motion to suspend Pamela. Knox from all duties pending review." Hands went up, one by one. Pamela didn't move. Officer Chen walked over. "Ms. Knox will need to speak about the utility order." Pamela turned heels, clicking across the tile, and the door closed behind her. The only sound left was the soft clink of the clubhouse wind chime. I didn't cheer. I didn't even smile. I just packed up my papers and said I just want to build my workshop and be left alone. People nodded. Some clapped quietly. The next week, the Facebook group blew up. Half said I'd done the right thing. Half said I should have kept it private. That's how it goes. Everybody's brave behind a keyboard. But me, I got my peace back. My workshop stands finished now. Cedar trim, neutral paint, a little window box of flowers my granddad would have loved. Sometimes when I film my DIY videos, I angle the camera just right so you can see the fence in the background. Not as a trophy, but a reminder. The best revenge isn't loud. It's steady. It's legal. And it drives people like Pamela crazy because it doesn't break a single rule. Do I hate her? No. I think she built her whole identity around being in charge, and when that power cracked, so did she. But that's not my weight to carry. I just wanted to build something honest. So now I'm curious. What would you have done? Would you have fought it like I did, or let it go to keep the peace? Where's the line between keeping order and abusing it? Tell me in the comments, and hey, let me know where you're watching from. Because sometimes the only way to shine light on people like Pamela is to talk about it out loud.